everyone, welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. A very good evening to all of you. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. You're watching News Tonight, where we bring you news updates from India and around the world. India is celebrating the Dhamma Chakra Day on Asad Purnima. Both President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted the people on the day that is also known as Guru Purnima. They also reiterated the importance of the teachings of Lord Buddha and his message of peace, non-violence and respect for all.
President Ramnath Kovind inaugurated the Dharma Chakra Day celebrations at Rashtrapati Bhavan on Saturday. Addressing the event, he said that Lord Buddha's teachings were as relevant in present day as they had been earlier. He said that in India, Buddhism is seen as a fresh expression of the sublime truth.
Today, as the pandemic ravages human lives and economies across the globe, the Buddha's message serves like a beacon. He advised people to shun greed, hatred, violence, jealousy, and many other vices to find happiness. Contrast this message with the hankering of an unrepentant mankind indulging in the same old violence and degradation of nature. We all know that the moment the virulence of coronavirus slows down, we have a far more serious challenge of climate change before us.
Addressing the event via video conferencing, Prime Minister Modi said Buddha's teachings offer lasting solutions to the extraordinary challenges facing the world today. Recalling the Eightfold Path of Lord Buddha, Prime Minister Modi said it shows the way towards the well-being of many societies and nations. The Prime Minister added that in his first sermon at Sarnath, Lord Buddha referred to hope and purpose.
The Eightfold Path of Lord Buddha shows the way towards the well-being of many societies and nations. It highlights the importance of compassion and kindness. The teachings of Lord Buddha celebrate simplicity both in thought and action. Buddhism teaches respect for people, respect for the poor, respect for women, respect for peace and non-violence. Therefore, the teachings of Buddhism are the means to a sustainable planet.
Prime Minister Modi said India's startup sector is a great example of how hope, innovation and compassion can remove suffering.
If you want to see a great example of how hope, innovation and compassion can remove suffering, it is our startup sector led by our youth. Bright young minds are finding solutions to global problems. India has one of the largest startup ecosystems. I would urge my young friends to also stay connected with the thoughts of Lord Buddha. They will motivate and show the way ahead. It is the need of the hour to connect more and more people with Buddhist heritage sites. We in India have many such sites. You know how people also know my parliamentary constituency of Varanasi. At the home to Sarnath, we want to focus on connectivity to Buddhist sites. A few days back, the Indian cabinet announced that Kushinagar airport will be an international one. This will bring so many people, pilgrims and tourists. It would also generate economic opportunities for many.
The President of Mongolia read out a special address at the event. The event was organized by the International Buddhist Confederation under the aegis of the Culture Ministry. The day marks the first sermon by Lord Buddha to his first disciples at Sarnath near Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. It is also known as the Dhamma Chakra Pravartan Day by Buddhists across the world. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi went on a day-long trip to Leh in the Union Territory of Ladakh on Friday. During the visit that came amid border tensions with China, the Prime Minister took stock of the situation in eastern Ladakh and interacted with the troops to boost their morale. He also performed the ritual of worshipping the river Sindhu in Ladakh.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi performed Sindhu Darshan Puja on his arrival at Nimmo, the forward brigade in Ladakh, on Friday. Located at 11,000 feet, Nimmo is among the toughest terrains on the banks of the river Indus and surrounded by the Zanskar range. Leh celebrates Sindhu Darshan festival every year in June on full moon day of Guru Purnima. The 3-day-long festival is celebrated to spread the message of unity, peaceful coexistence and communal harmony. Prime Minister Modi also paid homage to the martyrs at the War Memorial in Leh. He also met the soldiers injured in the Galwan face-off.
India will not allow the import of power equipment from China and Pakistan. Power Minister R.K. Singh made the announcement on Friday, citing recent transgression in border areas and cybersecurity threats by China. Imports from other countries will also need permissions.
Amid the border standoff with China, the Power Ministry announced import restrictions on equipment used for power supply systems and networks. Addressing a video conference of State Power and Renewable Energy Ministers on Friday, Union Power Minister R.K. Singh said import replacement is top priority. Citing 2018 data, the minister said, India imported power equipment worth 71,000 crore rupees. Of this, equipment worth 21,000 crore rupees was Chinese. Singh said this was intolerable, especially when India could itself manufacture everything needed for power generation, transmission and distribution.
And this is something which we cannot tolerate. That you have a country which transgresses into our territory, which kills our soldiers, and yet we create jobs in that country and not in our country. तो हम लोगों ने यह निर्णय किया कि एक तो हम चीन से कुछ लेंगे नहीं, यानी उसको प्रायर रेफरेंस कंट्रीज कहते हैं. प्रायर रेफरेंस कंट्रीज का लिस्ट हम निकालने जा रहे हैं. वो प्रायर रेफरेंस कंट्रीज में चीन रहेगा, पाकिस्तान रहेगा. वहां से कोई भी इंपोर्ट होगा ऊर्जा का सामान, उसके लिए परमिशन चाहिए. परमिशन हम देंगे नहीं.
The Power Minister also said the electricity grid is vulnerable to malware attacks that can shut down our communications, database and defense systems. In view of such cybersecurity threats, there will be no permission to import from China or Pakistan.
अन्य देशों से जो भी इंपोर्ट होगा उसका हम इंस्पेक्शन करेंगे अपनी लैबोरेटरी में, क्योंकि पावर सिस्टम सेंसिटिव सिस्टम है. साइबर अटैक उसमें हो सकता है. दूसरे जैसा कदम हमने उठाया है वैसे यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ने भी उठाया है हमसे पहले और दूसरे देशों ने भी उठाया. हम लोग साइबर अटैक से वल्नरेबल है. पावर सिस्टम कोई भी मैलवेयर उसको कहते हैं, ट्रोजन हॉर्सेस कहते हैं, कहीं पर भी पार्क कर देगा किसी पीसीबी में और उसको रिमोटली जब चाहेगा वो ट्रिगर करेगा और हमारा पावर सिस्टम को शट डाउन कर सकता है. हमारा पावर सिस्टम शट डाउन हो जाएगा तो कम्युनिकेशन शट डाउन हो जाएगा. डेटाबेसेस क्रैश कर जाएंगे।
The measure comes just days after the government banned 59 Chinese mobile apps. Earlier, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari had announced that no Chinese company will be allowed to bid for road projects in India or invest in the MSME sector. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
International support for India continues to grow amid the tense border standoff with China. Japan is the latest to join a list of countries that have backed India, while condemning China's attempt to unilaterally change the status quo on the line of actual control.
On Friday, Japanese Ambassador Satoshi Suzuki extended support to India on Twitter after a conversation with Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla. Suzuki said that Japan hopes for a peaceful resolution through dialogue. Japan too is engaged in a row with China over Chinese vessels intruding into its territorial waters around the disputed Senkaku Islands. Backing India, the United States unequivocally blamed Chinese aggression for the confrontation. In a statement last week, the White House said China's aggressive stance along the India-China border fits in a larger pattern of Chinese aggression in other parts of the world, and these actions only confirm the true nature of the Chinese Communist Party. The US is also all set to carry out one of the biggest military drills in the South China Sea. For this purpose, the US Navy has sent 2 aircraft carriers and several warships to the South China Sea. Neighbouring Bhutan has issued a démarche to China over its attempt to declare a Bhutanese wildlife sanctuary along their border as disputed territory. Philippines has also warned China of a severe response against the ongoing Chinese military exercises in the disputed South China Sea spillover into Philippine territory. The Chinese army has been conducting naval exercises in the disputed sea since the 1st of July.
The number of coronavirus cases in India approached 6.5 lakh on Saturday and is rising at the fastest rate among all badly hit countries. However, the recovery rate remains steady at over 60%. The ICMR on Saturday said the process to develop an indigenous vaccine to fight the coronavirus pandemic is as per globally accepted norms of fast tracking. ICMR's statement came a day after it asked Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech to complete clinical trials of COVID-19 vaccine, Covaxin, by 15th August. Country's first indigenous COVID-19 vaccine is developed by Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the ICMR and National Institute of Virology. ICMR clarified that no necessary procedure will be bypassed in order to develop the vaccine.
Coronavirus cases in India jumped to over 6.48 lakh after 22,771 new cases were reported in a span of 24 hours. This was the highest spike in new positive cases so far. The death toll increased to 18,655 after 442 new fatalities were reported in the last 24 hours across the country. Total active cases now stand at over 2.35 lakh. Over 3.94 lakh people have recovered from the virus. The recovery rate stands at 60.8%. In the last 24 hours, over 2.42 lakh samples were tested, pushing the number of tests to over 95 lakh. Maharashtra is the worst affected state in the country with cases nearing 2 lakh. Of the total cases, over 1 lakh patients have recovered and 79,927 are still active. The state has reported 8,376 deaths so far, while the state continues to contribute the maximum number of new cases every day. Its rate of growth is still low. At 3.4%, the 7-day compounded daily growth rate for Maharashtra has been below the national average for 4 days in a row. Tamil Nadu has 1,02,721 cases with 1,385 deaths, while recoveries were 58,378. The recovery rate is 57%. The state has extended complete lockdown in Madurai till 12th of July to fight the virus. The city reported at least 287 cases on Friday. So far, 3,423 have been infected. Delhi's COVID-19 tally now stands at 97,200. The capital has registered 3,004 deaths so far and 68,256 recoveries. The number of coronavirus cases in Delhi after a spike in the third week of June has slowed down considerably. Even though the capital is reporting 2,000 new cases, its growth rate has fallen below 3%. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are now in the top 10 states with a maximum caseload. They are also the only 4 states where coronavirus cases are growing faster than the national growth rate. Meanwhile, starting Monday, flights from 6 cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Chennai and Ahmedabad will not land in Kolkata for 3 weeks as the West Bengal government stepped up measures to contain the coronavirus. West Bengal recorded its highest death toll due to COVID-19 in a single day, with 18 people dying on 3rd of July and the highest spike in cases with 669 testing positive. The total number of COVID cases in the state stands at 20,488. 735 people have died in the state. Meanwhile, the government has revised the dosage of antiviral drug remdesivir administered to COVID-19 patients. According to new guidelines, a COVID-19 patient should be given a dose of 200 milligrams of remdesivir on day 1, followed by 100 mg daily for 4 days. Remdesivir is allowed for use among COVID-19 patients in India as an investigational therapy. It is not advised for those with signs of liver damage. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday praised the BJP's welfare measures during the nationwide COVID-19 induced lockdown.
Reviewing the work done by the party's Bihar unit during the Seva Hi Sangathan meet, Prime Minister Modi said that some believed that COVID-19 will spread more in East India due to high poverty, but they had been proved wrong. Prime Minister Modi also praised the Rajasthan BJP unit, saying that its actions during the crisis showed how the party could play a constructive role, be it in power or in opposition. He urged BJP workers to make digital booklets to commemorate the historic measures taken during lockdown. Prime Minister Modi also praised relief work done by workers from Delhi, Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Karnataka, among other states. 7 state party units gave a presentation of their work at a video conference. Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Union Ministers Piyush Goyal and Giriraj Singh, besides Party President JP Nadda, joined the online meeting from the BJP headquarters.
दुनिया की नजरों में आप कोरोना काल में काम कर रहे थे, ये सच्चाई होने के बावजूद भी मैं मेरे नजरिए से कहूं, अगर खुद को कसौटी पर कस रहे थे, ऐसा मैं कह सकता हूं, आप अपने आदर्शों और व्यवहारों के बीच अपने आप को तपा रहे थे। किसी ने मास्क बनाकर लोगों में बांटे, किसी ने घर घर गरीबों को राशन पहुंचाया, तो किसी ने प्रवासी कामगारों का जिम्मा उठा लिया।
The World Health Organization has warned that the COVID-19 infection rate is still quite high, urging countries to put in place strict control measures.
On Saturday, the global coronavirus cases surpassed 11.2 million with over 5,29,600 deaths.
Right now, the proportion of people around the world who are seropositive does not provide us with a barrier against the second wave of infection or second peaks in the current waves. We really do have to double down on the control measures that we have at our disposal. We need to suppress infection. We need to reduce mortality.
The United States continues to be the worst hit country with over 2.67 million cases. It is followed by Brazil with over 1.5 million cases. On Friday, the agency said that first results from COVID drug clinical trials are likely to be available within 2 weeks.
The group reviewed data from the Solidarity trial and agreed on the need for more trials to test different classes of therapeutics at different stages of the disease. Nearly 5,500 patients in 39 countries have so far been recruited into the Solidarity trial. We expect interim results within the next 2 weeks.
Britain allowed pubs, restaurants, cinemas and hospitality businesses to fully operate from Saturday. Hairdressers and barber shops have also been allowed to reopen, but with extra safety measures in place. In Brazil's São Paulo city, malls have initiated drive-in shopping. Shoppers can now drive through the aisles of the Botucatu Mall to limit physical contact. Shop assistants will come out to the vehicles to hand over items that were pre-purchased online. Meanwhile, some countries continue to report clusters of new cases. Japan reported 249 new coronavirus infections on Friday. Half of the new cases were from Tokyo. On Saturday, Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike urged residents to refrain from making unnecessary trips outside the city in order to limit the spread of the virus. South Korea reported 63 new cases of the coronavirus on Saturday, bringing the national total to 13,030 cases, while China reported 3 new COVID-19 cases, 1 local case from Beijing. Meanwhile, a WHO team will visit China next week to investigate the origins of the coronavirus.
The government on Friday announced that it will charge interest on late payment to vendors on the government e-marketplace.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in a tweet said this was aimed at promoting greater discipline and timeliness in payment to vendors, especially micro, small and medium enterprises. The order will apply to all procurements from October 1st, 2020. For procurements on GEM, buyers are mandated to make payments within 10 calendar days after the consignee receipt and acceptance certificate or CRAC are generated on the GEM. The interest amount will be deposited in an account maintained by GEM. The GEM will keep the interest in a separate account that will be used only to educate sellers and buyers or for other purposes related to GEM or public procurement with the approval of the Department of Expenditure. The government has repeatedly emphasized the need for prompt payment to vendors, especially MSME vendors.
The Indian Meteorological Department issued a red alert for Mumbai, Raigad and Ratnagiri in Maharashtra while predicting extremely heavy rainfall over the next 24 hours. Mumbai continued to receive heavy rainfall on Saturday.
High tide hit Marine Drive in Mumbai on Saturday, even as Mumbai's civic authorities warned people to stay away from the coast. The Met Department has also predicted heavy rainfall in Gujarat and Delhi in the next 24 hours. It says thunderstorms accompanied by lightning and gusty winds could hit Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi. Heavy rainfall has been predicted in Bhopal and Indore, while Punjab and Haryana could have an improvement in rainfall. In Assam, the flood situation remained grim with 16 lakh people in 23 districts affected so far. Several low-lying regions were affected. The death toll has gone up to 34. Over 25,000 people have taken shelter in 270 relief camps across the state. More than 50% area of the Kaziranga National Park and the Povitara Wildlife Sanctuary are still inundated.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu paid tribute to Swami Vivekananda on his 118th death anniversary on Saturday. India marked the 55th death anniversary of Pingali Venkaiah, the man who designed the national flag, on Saturday.
People across the country paid tribute to the legendary freedom fighter and remembered his contribution to the nation. Born on August 2, 1876 in Andhra Pradesh, Pingali Venkaiah is also known as Jhanda Venkaiah. Venkaiah studied the flags of 30 countries before designing the Indian tricolour. Initially, Venkaiah used saffron and green colors, but he later incorporated the spinning wheel in the center and white as the third color. The Indian National Congress officially adopted the flag in 1931. Venkaiah joined the British Indian Army at the age of 19 and fought the Anglo-Boer War in Africa.
International Day of Cooperatives is being observed on Saturday, with Cooperatives for Climate Action as the theme.
This theme has been chosen as greenhouse gas emissions today are more than 50% higher than what they were in 1990, and global warming is causing long-lasting changes to our climate system. So the theme was selected to support Sustainable Development Goal on climate action. The main aim of this day is to increase awareness about cooperatives and highlight the contributions of the cooperative movement in resolving the major problems addressed by the United Nations. In a statement, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, and I quote, "The COVID-19 pandemic and climate emergency have both revealed the fragility of our societies and our planet. These dual crises are disproportionately affecting the world's most vulnerable countries and people and deepening many social and economic rifts. They also make clear the need to strengthen global cooperation and solidarity." On December 16, 1992, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution proclaiming the first Saturday of July 1995 to be the International Day of Cooperatives, marking the centenary of the establishment of the International Cooperative Alliance. Since then, the International Day of Cooperatives is celebrated every year.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated US President Donald Trump on his country's Independence Day.
In a Twitter message, Prime Minister Modi extended his wishes to the President and the people of the United States of America on their 244th Independence Day. He said that as the world's largest democracies, both India and the US cherish freedom and human enterprise that the day celebrates.
And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.